Hey, it's Lowry Smith of the Commander Smiths here with Spotlight Deck Tech. This is Saint Traft and Rem Carlos. Commander Smiths is a podcast that you can listen to every week, and we have a Discord and a Patreon. And like and subscribe if you like this deck. All right, Saint Traft and Rem, blue and a red and a white for a 3/4 Spirit Human. Whenever Saint Traft and Rem becomes tapped, create a 1/1 red human creature token. If it's the first time, if it's the second time, create a 1/1 blue spirit. And if it's a third time, create a 4/4 white angel creature with flying. Whenever you cast a spell that has Convoke, untap Saint Traft and Rem. This card's really cool. I've had a lot of fun with this deck throughout the couple years it's been out. Lots of tapping, untapping, getting tokens. So let's see what we got going on. This is going to be random, no organization. I just don't think you care that much. All right, Fable Passage, Esper Sentinel for cheap creature to tap down. Also that draw. Mountain, Welcoming Vampire. You got a lot of tokens that are happening. You should be able to draw a bunch of cards. Should be able to create tokens on everybody's turn. And it works. Intruder Alarm, whenever creatures don't untap during their controller's untap step. And whenever a creature comes into play, untap every creature on the battlefield. And in this kind of deck, you don't really care about it. You're just make a token, untap Traft and Rem, and you're moving forward. You just get a lot of Convoke triggers, and they're all free spells basically at that point. Flawless Maneuver for free indestructibility for the creatures. Spit Gremlin. The big thing here is whenever you're casting non-creature spell, untap the Gremlin. That's making basically you can cast more Convoke spells as long as you have enough spells that are there. Also, you can just deal 1 damage to everything if that's what you want to do. Clever Concealment. Any number of target non-land permanents you control phase out. Also has Convoke, untap Rem, all that kind of stuff. Paradise Mantle is allowing you to just tap creatures for mana straight up, not just for Convoke spells. So that works. Scalding Tarn, Arid Mesa, Plateau. We do use proxies. We give them out. So on the Discord, not those, but ones that Adam has made. He's made over 300 and stuff like that. Arcane Signet for that ramp. Mountain. Wildfire Awakener. X spell with Convoke. And then X, you get a bunch of 1/1 red elemental creatures. And whenever those creatures become tapped, it deals 1 damage to target player. Basically, it's amazing. You convoke everything you can into this, make a bunch of little 1/1s, and if you have another convoke spell in your hand, you convoke those red creatures, um, and then deal a bunch of damage to everybody. That's pretty cool. Where War Leaders Call, creatures you control get +1/+1. Also, whenever a creature ETBs for you, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. So yeah, it's an Impact Tremors deck, and it's pretty nice. It gets moving. Prosperous Partnership. When it ETBs, you get 2/1/1 green citizens, green and white, and then you can tap 3 untapped creatures you control to do a treasure. You have stuff untapping. You just keep things open and you keep moving. So basically, like this, Saint Traft, Intrude Alarm, tap 3 cards, make a token, untap everything, make a treasure along with it. Do that 3 times per turn. Um, and if you got a War Leader's Call in play, you're dealing everybody damage. It's a lot of fun when it gets going. Magda, whenever it taps, you get a treasure. That's what that's there for. You have a little bit of a treasure theme in here as well, so but nothing really to go get. So that doesn't really matter unless you're in a pinch. You just go get the biggest artifact that you possibly can. Transcendent Message, Convoke, draw X cards. Not too bad. It's pretty easy to draw, 4 or 5 cards still. You can do more, but whatever. Island. Monastery Mentor, one of the best token producers out there. Might as well do it. Samite Herbalist, whenever it becomes tapped, you get the Gain of Life and Scry 1. It's perfect for that cheapness. Talisman of Conviction for that ramp. Sakashima, Saint Traft and Rem is a really cool effect. Might as well get more of them. So if you got 2 of them in play, you're tapping them, untapping them with the Convoke, creating a bunch of tokens, and it gets moving. Skull Clamp just for drawing cards. You make enough little tokens to be able to draw cards with it. Unruly Catapult, just like the Gremlin, untaps with an instant or sorcery being cast. Also deals 1 damage to everything. Defender, also Artifact, which is a slight sub theme in here as well. Next bit, Flooded Strand, Sacred Foundry, Talisman of Progress. I like my talismans in 3-color decks. Interdisciplinary Mascot. That's a mouthful, but it's 5/5 Convoker. When it with Ward 3, and when it ETBs, look at the top 4 cards, put one of them into your hand, rest on the bottom. So one of the better Convoke cards. Uh, Meeting of the Minds, Convoke instant, draw 2 cards. It's just kind of a glue card in there. Mikakoro, Center of the Sea, pay 2, tap. Each player draws a card. It just kind of works. It's just something to make sure that you're drawing more cards if you need it. Preordained for that cantripping. Um, Adam's Proxy is covering the name. Benny Brax. There we go. Drawing cards when a token comes into play once per turn, and it's Convoke, so it's all on theme, and it's heat in here. Devouring Light, removal, or remove target attacking or blocking creature from the game. Convoke, pretty easy to cast in here. It feels overcasted, but or costed, but it's perfect for this deck. Soul Ring, Chant of Vitugazi, 8 mana Convoke. Prevent all damage that would be dealt by creatures this turn. You gain 1 life for each damage prevented this way. It's just a prevent you from dying type thing on theme. All right, we have a room here, but the first one is Dazzling Theater. Creature spells you cast have Convoke. This card has been gas. I straight love this one. And then Prop Room for 3 more. Untap each creature you control during each other player's untap step. This card's perfect in here. Revendell for that Scrying Land, Hallowed Fountain, Moorland Haunt to just get you token creatures. Flood or Flock Chaser Phantom, Convoke, 5/5 Flying Vigilance, and whenever it attacks, the next spell you cast this turn has Convoke. I think it's pretty important. You can just go straight Convoke, and the deck's probably going to be worse because there's not a lot of good Convoke cards. But if you can give things Convoke like this, the deck becomes much better. Spell Skype for that protection. Also just cheap convoking creature and blocker. Knight Errant of Eos. 4/4 Convoke, and then you get to look at the top 4 cards or as many as you convoke with and put something in your hand. Just nice card advantage. Ash Barrens. Sunbaked Canyon for that land. Ponder for that cantripping. Divine Visitation. If you're making a bunch of little 1/1 tokens, why not make them better with being 4/4 Flying Vigilance? Invasion of Segovia. Battle comes down with 4. You get 2/1/1 unblockables, and then the backside is pretty cool as well. Non-creature spells you cast have Convoke. Like I said, you want to you can give stuff Convoke. It gives you a little bit more room to play around with. Land Jessica's Will because it's an amazing card, right? Lightning Greaves, Relic of Legends, something to be able to tap St. Traft for mana. Plains, Keep for just some tokens. Fiery Islet. Sometimes if you're drawing a lot of lands, that's why I have the draw lands, the sack and draw, just because sometimes you don't need the land. Plaza of Heroes for protection. We have Grand Crescendo, which is make a bunch of tokens. Everything gains indestructible. It's if you can get this Convoke, then it becomes a big beating at instant speed. Opposition, tap and untap creature you control, tap target artifact, creature, or land. It just as a tap outlet for St. Traft, along with kind of controlling the board. Anything that's too big that you don't want to take a hit from, you just tap it down. And if you want to just tap down people's lands during their upkeep, that can be brutal as well. They won't like you for that. How about that? Auto-Worn Shaku taps for a colorless, but you can tap and untap legendary permanent you control, untap Auto-Worn Shaku. Just a tap outlet for mana. Drum Bellower, 3 mana, 2/1 flyer. Untap all creatures you control during each other player's untap step. It's basically untapping your lands in a Convoke deck. You got Spark Double to get another effect with St. Traft and Rem. The Wandering Rescuer, Flash, Convoke, 3/4 double strike. Other tapped creatures you control have hexproof. So when you have those tap outlets, you can give your stuff hexproof at instant speed. Also, just a bit of a beater. Perforos, God of the Forge. Whenever you have a creature come into play, 2 damage to everybody. Also, with a token deck, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. If you're paying 3, that's relevant when you're going wide. City of Brass, Chief Engineer. Artifact spells you cast have Convoke. Like I said, a smaller artifact theme, but just giving anything and everything in your deck Convoke goes pretty good. So, uh, Chiron Negotiations, tap an untapped creature you control, and it deals 1 damage to target player, which is Saint Traft, and then you get to make another creature and tap that if you want, and be able to untap. It's a pretty cool card. Volcanic Island, Ephemeral Shields, its protection with Convoke. We have Wand of Wonder, a World Soul. ETB's tap, but you can get a white out of it or tap the next spell you have. Cast has Convoke, which has been really good. Everything comes to dust. It's a 10 mana Wrath, sorcery, Convoke, and it definitely takes some math to do sometimes. But exile all creatures except those that share a creature type with the creature that convoked this spell, all artifacts and all enchantments. So like you try and tap down creatures, convoke that you want to save, and if you have a bunch of different like creature types from the tokens, you try and save those. But last time I cast this, um, I had artifact creatures. Those go away because all artifacts are exiled, and also your enchantments, you can't save those. But generally, you try and not save their creatures, so sometimes you gotta let it go. It's a pretty good wrath in this kind of deck. Agate, Instigator, Offspring, so you can make a copy of it for 2. Whenever another creature you control enters, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. Um, Pretty great in that regard. Prismatic Vista, Talisman of Creativity. Oh, well. Triome, Island, Plains, Springleaf Drum, tap outlet for mana. Mines of Moria for you remove stuff from the graveyard to create 2 treasures. Pretty good. Ornithopter Paradise, creature that you can tap for Convoke or just mana. Conclave Tribunal, probably like I said, this is like convoking cards. That's some of the best removal you're gonna get at 4 mana enchantment. Convoke, exile something. If this leaves, that thing comes back. It's rough. Tundra, Plains, top, one of my favorite cards. Steam Vents, Command Tower, Molten Gatekeeper. Whenever a creature comes into play, deals 1 damage to each opponent, has an unearth clause to it as well. Sakashima for copying Saint Traft. Island, Charismatic Conqueror, 2/2 vigilance, and just pumps out those tokens for you. It's amazing for those convoke spells. Stoke the Flames, convoke, deal 4 damage to target creature or player. Cut Short, 3 mana instant, convoke, destroy target planeswalker that was activated this turn or a tapped creature. Rhystic Study to draw enough. A lot of cantrips in here, so you need something that's just going to kind of get you going. So I try and avoid Rhystic Study, but it's good enough in here. The pool for convoke draw spells is pretty short. Thermal Alchemist untaps whenever an instant or sorcery spell is cast, and then it can tap to deal 1 damage to each opponent. Great for convoke cards, great for just dealing damage. Impact Tremors, 1 damage to each opponent whenever a creature comes into play for you. Enduring Innocence, same thing as Welcoming Vampire, draw new cards whenever you have small tokens come into play, and goes pretty nice for you. Mystic Monastery, just yeah, land City on Fire, tripling all that damage from Impact Tremors, really gets the game moving. And the last one is Kasla, the Broken Halo. I love this card in here. 6 mana, 5/4 Convoke, Flying Vigilance Haste. Whenever you cast another spell that has Convoke, scry 2, then draw a card. Makes things move. If you enjoyed, share, like, subscribe. Have a good day. Bye.